This workshop is really about take charge of your research. Well, why bother? Why should you take charge of your research? Because all you need is the signature at the end, right? Well, of course not, because nobody suffers for 4 years for a signature, right? It's a long time to wait for a signature, I can tell you. So you should have some more intrinsic reasons for being there. If the only reason you're there to get the signature at the end, you need to have some feeling of accomplishment in the meantime. That's what I'm trying to tell you. You want to make a difference. Maybe you feel like this. PhD is 4 years to focus on more or less one topic. That's a luxurious time, I can tell you. You want to develop something new, you're onto something, you can just smell it, you know, there's something in there. I've seen this molecule, I've seen something, I have this wonderful equation which nobody can solve, but I can solve. You're onto something. 4 years is wonderful, you get paid here. There are a lot of universities you don't get paid to do a PhD. You see this period of your life as a unique opportunity. I think this should be valid for all of you. It is a unique period of your life. You will never ever do a similar thing, thank God. But it is nice. I mean, you're doing a PhD, you're the expert, but you can still be saying, oh, I'm the PhD student, you know, go to my professor. Afterwards, once you get assistant professorship, you can't say this anymore. Huh? This trick I tried once doesn't work. And you want to have some fun, preferably scientific fun. But you're supposed to have fun. Eh? If you're unhappy every day, something is wrong. Doing your PhD is not about suffering. Eh? There's some days of suffering. But not every day, yeah? Keep this in mind. So if every day you're thinking, oh my God, then something is wrong. And you should think what is going wrong for yourself. So I listed some challenges for you. First one, who finds to define the aim of research a challenge? A lot of PhDs, yeah? A lot of PhDs after the first year, they still haven't got a clue why they're here. Their professor is not telling them, do you feel like you don't know? You don't know? Or it's like you have this big problem and you're not sure what you're supposed to do about this. Yeah? It's hard. I mean, there's different PhD projects all over the place. Some people just get a very defined subject, a very defined go and do this. And that's fine too. But there are a lot of projects which it's kind of vague what you're supposed to do because the professor doesn't know either. That's why you are here. And that's a good thing. Huh? The less they know, the more you can contribute. That's the way you should see it. So when you're thinking about defining the aim of research, and also there's not a one answer to this. The aim of research that you may have gotten the first day you came here and the aim of research you have a year later may be completely different. And that's fine because that's research. A lot of it is serendipitous. A lot of great discoveries came along the way while you were searching for something else. So you should be open for this a little bit. So what are you trying to achieve? Who will this affect? What do you need to achieve this aim? So what do you need? And you should, once you realize these things, you can go and search for them. But you have to think about these questions first. What knowledge exists and what is missing? You're supposed to do something new. So don't try to copy what somebody else did. That's a waste of time. It's already there. You're supposed to do something new. Now, make a plan. Plan the unplannable. How can you plan the unplannable? Because research, by its pure definition, cannot be planned. So why should you still make a planning? You need to have a sense of accomplishment. If the only accomplishment that you're going to have those 4 years is the fact that you got your PhD at the end, that's a very long year. But if you say, I have a planning, by the end of this month, I should have discovered this molecule, or I should have fine-tuned this instrument, or I should have debugged my program, whatever you're doing, and then you reach that point, you feel like I did something, because you need to cut it up to get a sense of accomplishment. Otherwise, you're thinking, okay, I did something useful, but I still have 3 more years to go. Yeah? And that is a serious problem. What must you achieve the first year of your research? Set an aim for yourself. You know, the problem is this, by a year from now, what should you have done for yourself to feel, okay, I can still get my PhD another 3 years from now. And then you break it up in little accomplishment. If indeed, a year from now, I should have fine-tuned this instrument, what should I do a month from now, 2 months from now? And you work backwards. So if you are supposed to fine-tune the instrument in month 12, what should you have done in month 11? Well, you should have at least have the components, right? So you kind of go back all the way to what should you achieve this week and make a to-do list of today. And don't underestimate the value of to-do lists. And then you need to prioritize. Because maybe you also have to make websites, organize seminars, teach, supervise master students, a lot of things which are interesting. but I didn't say do your own research project. Okay? So you should cut for yourself what are the tasks I need to do and then prioritize. And then make sure you go one by one and don't do everything at the same time. It's a famous trick that all of us get caught in. Don't try to do everything at the same time. Multitasking doesn't mean you do everything like crap. And this we already discussed. Why do you need a planning? You need to have intermediate gratification and motivation to continue. Yay, I finished something. Let's move on to the next accomplishment. If you don't celebrate your successes in between, you're not going to last 4 years, I can tell you. The ones who only focused on the end product are the ones who didn't finish or who finished in 6 or 7 or 8 years. This is my experience. The monitoring of personal effectiveness is key. And there's not one answer to this. Everybody is different. But if you do not realize who you are, it's going to be very difficult to be effective. So check your schedule. What's going wrong? What can I do better? What should I ask for support from the university? Because there's a lot of support. There are a lot of courses that can help you on specific things. But you first have to realize you need them. Okay? So don't be afraid to screw up your planning and make a new plan. My planning gets screwed every day. But it's important to make a new planning because things happen. You cannot be rigid. There's going to be a lot of wonderful opportunities. And if you say, no, every day, then you're going to lose out a lot of opportunities. So you have to be kind of flexible, saying, okay, this is a great opportunity. I was asked to chair a session. I was asked to organize this workshop. And I should do this. This looks good on my resume. It gives me a feeling of satisfaction. Okay, this means I will not reach the deadline of my paper. You make the balance. Can I not? But be flexible. If you're not flexible, you're going to lose out. How can your supervisor or your supervisors contribute? What can they do to help you? You have to educate them, I'm afraid. Because most of them have about 15 or PhD students and a lot of other things. So most of them are going to be really busy. You have to make sure that they are there for you. And they'll not be waiting for you. You need to make sure that they understand that you exist and that you're doing useful stuff. Perform research. This is the core of your PhD. If you can do everything well, if you're not performing research, you will not get a PhD. Okay? Now, there's many different philosophies of what doing research is about. And there's not one answer because it's completely dependent on one, your field of interest, the culture in your field. So are you in the field where you're supposed to publish in high-impact journals? Or are you in the field where you're supposed to prototype and go to industry and explain what you do for a living? Both are science, but they're different fields, different cultures. Science is teamwork. Even though some of you may think it is something that one lonely person does, it very rarely is. Most scientific discoveries are done by teams, even though there's one person often running away with it. Be meticulous in your work and be honest with yourself about loose ends. That's a very important thing. It's okay to say, well, I did this experiment and it was sort of okay, but I may have made a mistake there. Write it down. You know, this may have gone wrong, this may have gone wrong, but acknowledge the fact that maybe it wasn't a numerical scatter, maybe there was something really wrong. And listen to feedback. Do not be defensive. It's not a stage in your life to be defensive. So maybe feedback you get is going to be crap, but maybe there's some truth in there. At least it tells you something about how other people view you, which is really important for you. Document your work. The documentation of your work is important because you need something at the end. Now, some of you may have 5 publications and then you get a PhD dissertation. Some of you may have to write a book. So be very careful to document your work and do this meticulously. Make a system for yourself and do it regularly. Make your work visible. Some of you are going to be brilliant at this. I was always really good at that. Some of you are going to be brilliant scientists, but nobody's going to know about you simply because you're shy or you're not a kind of a front stage person, you're kind of a backstage person. That's fine too. But you have to make sure, you have to become visible somehow. Your face should be attached to your research, not just your professor's face. When you finish, you want the world to know you as the person who is the expert on this topic, not the group of your professor. Okay? So don't go away, don't shy away from opportunities to make yourself visible. Push yourself. If your professor asks you, go and make a presentation, don't push it away to somebody else, even if you're scared shitless, don't. You have to practice these things. You have to be seen. This is really important. Publish your work in different journals. Don't focus just on Nature or whatever is your top priority journal, also look at the other ones. Be a little bit smart about it. Which one has your professor in as a board, on the board? Yeah, look at it a little bit. What is a journal we're focusing for? What's the aim 4 years from now? And what are journals which are okay to get published in right now? Present your work at as many conferences as you can. I have colleagues who do not go to conferences. They just want to publish in journals. There's a very significant difference between publishing in a journal and publishing at a conference. And it's not just the fact that the one in a journal gets more points. Yeah, the university gets money for you publishing and looks better on your resume if you have a publication somewhere. When you go to a conference, you meet people and they get to meet you. Your next job is going to come from something like that. Plus, you get feedback like this. You say something and they say, no, did you think about this? This kind of feedback you will never get from a journal. And this one is really important. Why? Not because I think it's hilarious to be doing research, but because you will do better if you're having fun. This is really true. The ones that are depressed 4 years, they don't do really good research, normally, okay? It's easier to collaborate. The ones that are funny, I love working with. The PhDs I can laugh with, I spend more time with them. These are the challenges as I see them, okay? You may have another challenge in you which is not there, and that is perfectly fine.